I want to bid a shalom to the bride of the Messiah, a shalom to the 144,000, and a shalom shalom to the scattered Hebrew Israelites. For you are the bride of Yahuwah, Israelites, and Yahuwah is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Shalom. Today I bring you my confessions. This is something that I've been wanting to do for quite some time, but everything happened at its due season. I pray that this testimony that I have to share with you will be edification, okay? I pray that you hear the message. I pray that you hear these confessions from the beginning to end. So the title of this message is, I sinned, I fell, but Yah got me up. Ytyyah Confessions. Subtitle, if you fall, repent, sin no more, and get up, for you belong to Yahuwah and not to Satan. When you meditate on the title and the subtitle, and when you hear my confessions, I pray that my testimony will be an encouragement to you and an example to you to understand how to deal when you sin. Because Satan will come at you and beat you up and make you feel like you can't serve the Father. What I mean is you can't partake in the new covenant. And we have to know this word inside out, because if we don't know this word inside out, and Satan knows this, he will come at you in your weakest point. Which brings me to this. Let me get this out of the way first, because we'll be going on some sites and I want to make sure we get this covered with the copyright laws. Okay, bring this back. So first, I'm going to open up with the announcements. Yahuwah has spoken himself in the video description box. There are some important links I want you to look at, but most importantly, when Yahuwah speaks. Also in this video, look to the letter I believe it's to the right of this video, and you will have access to Yahuwah prophetic messages. It's a playlist of messages of him speaking through his messengers. He is speaking to the Israelites and he is speaking to the Gentiles. Please watch that, print those messages out, and get that out to your family and friends. Also, Yahuwah calendar is also listed in the video description box, because we now need to understand about Yahuwah's calendar. We need to know the time we are in, the season we are in, because it aligns up with the biblical prophecies and also with Enoch's 10-week prophecies and other prophecies he has written in those books that Yah has given us unto the masses to read. Please check that out, which gives me to this, the Hebrew date. Let's click on that link and we'll go to the Most High Sacred Month. We are in the 7th day from Adam, which is the 12,000 year from creation. I have to look on the heathen's calendar, make sure I give you the right date, because I will get things mixed up. On Satan's calendar, which is the Gregorian's calendar that Daniel talks about in chapter 7, on their day is April the 29th, and it's Wednesday on their weekly format. And the year is 2020 AD. On the Most High calendar, we are in the 2nd month known as Zeph. Zeph is the month of the Sabbath, because that is the month when the Sabbath was given unto the Israelites to keep. Okay, Zeph means brightness. And the date in the month of Zeph, in the first week of the moon, is, let's see, it's the 29th. We are in day 6 of the moon, and it falls on the heathen day of April the 28th to April the 29th. Okay. from sundown to sundown, because we are in the daylight phase of daylight. We are in day 6 of the moon in the second month of the Most High calendar. Now, the day of the week that it falls in the Most High weekly format, we are in day 5. Day 5. And forgive me because I will get, numbers crossed and backwards. Now let's open with some scriptures because I want to take you through the word so you will know what to do when you fall and when you sin. I had sinned before I was in the truth, and I had sinned after in the truth. Now, when you study the whole Bible book, you learn that we do sin every day. This is why the Messiah taught us the prayer to say daily, at least 3 times a day, facing the east. Okay, so when the word will teach you what is sin unto the Most High Yah. Now, in the Most High Yah eyes, all sin is sin. He doesn't place how as man we put one sin more higher than others, but in the Most High, because He's a righteous judge, sin is sin unto Him. The only sin He would not forgive is the blasphemy. Is the blasphemy of the Holy Ghost. Okay, as written in the New Covenant. But let us go to the word first, so you can see what I did when I sinned as far as confession. I want you to go to the book of James. I'm reading out the King James 1611. This website of the 1611 is listed in the video description box, so you too can have access to this Bible. But before we read James chapter 5, verse 16, I want to take a Bible summary of the chapter. It says, wicked rich men are to fear God's vengeance. We ought to be patient in afflictions, after the example of the prophets and Job, to forbear swearing, to pray in adversity, to sing in prosperity, to acknowledge mutually our several faults, to pray for one another, and to reduce a straying brother to the truth. So this whole chapter is good to read, but right now we're going to read one verse. And before I do that, I need to say this right quick, because I do have enemies. And when you hear my life story, because I have to start from the beginning and get to the present, and this will be in multiple parts. Okay, this is a warning, because when you read the gospel and you see how the children of Satan operate, such as when the Pharisees would approach him, they would try to twist him in his words. Do not take my testimony, my confession, and break it up. You must tell the people to hear it from the beginning to the end. Because some of the facts I may give in one part and then give the rest of the facts in another part. It's not going to be in this complete order. Do not take my words and twist them. For you know how y'all feel about those who bear false witness. Okay? When you go to the book of Proverbs, you will see the 6 things that he hates, that is abominable to him. So that is a warning unto you. Do not take this confession, this testimony, and break it in parts. If you share it, you must let the people know to watch it from beginning and end. Do not break this up. It's a warning unto you. This is how the children of Satan operates. They would take a piece of a video and run with it and not give the whole truth in its entirety. So this is why I'm telling you, if you share this testimony confession, you must give the people the whole access to the link. You must tell the people to watch all the parts from beginning to end. Okay? You cannot do that. This is how the children of Satan operate. They would twist your words and try to make it to be something else when they know you're not saying that, but they're trying to bring in a lie. That's how they do. Okay, so now I got that part out the way. So now let us go to James chapter 5 verse 16. It says here, confess your faults to one another and pray for one another, that ye may be healed. The effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much. When I was down, my brothers and sisters, I didn't realize this. There are prayer warriors out here that constantly are praying. That is their office in the body of the Messiah. So when I was down, I had people that I didn't know was praying for me. Okay. And when you confess your faults to one another, my brothers and sisters, you can't just go to anybody. You have to find a righteous brother or sister who is real with you. And I say real, they are honest. They are not gossipers, or I can't say certain words, and I'll tell you why as I do my confessions. They don't carry bones, you know what I'm saying? So they are true, and they follow the instruction of the Messiah, and they come to you with the love of Yah, okay? And they are real with you. They even confess what they do, to let you know you're not the only one, but this is what you need to do to get back on track, okay? So they're going to give you the truth, and we know when we hear the truth, it hurts, but we got to hear it for the healing to begin, for the forgiveness to begin, okay? So you just can't go to anybody. So that's why I'm warning you. Be careful who you go to when you need to confess. Because it's something about when you confess, when you speak it through your mouth, it takes the burdens off your shoulders. Okay? Then the healing can begin. Then you can acknowledge truth and allow the spirit of truth to come in to minister to you and to guide you what you need to do to correct your transgressions. Okay? Because remember, we operate in the physical world as well in the spiritual world. And the spirit going hand with the carnal. Okay? So it takes time now to pause the screen and to read it. But this whole chapter is too good to read. Another place I want to take you to, and I need to go to this one right here. I went to blueletterbible.org. When you hear my confession from all the parts, we begin to understand Matthew chapter 21, verse 31, and Matthew chapter 21, verse 32. Okay? Again, go back and read the whole chapter. Go to the King James 11 Bible to get the Bible summary. But I'm trying to save time, so this part won't be too long. It says here, whether a dim twine did the will of his father, they say unto him, the first. Yahushua say unto them, verily I say unto you, that the publicans and the harlots go into the kingdom of YAH before you. So to make this fair, let me click on this whole chapter here, because I believe he's talking those Pharisees, okay? We know they're kingdom blockers, and the reason why we are reading this verse here, it will relate to my testimony, because it's a mystery here, or it's a message here that the Messiah is saying unto us, my brothers and sisters. He says that the publicans and the harlots will go into the kingdom of Yah before those Pharisees will. Okay, and see who he's talking to, but that's why I believe he's talking to. Yep, the Pharisees. I can tell with this conversation. So when I look up higher, yep, the chief priests came to him, the scribes came to him, questioning, how of him healing a man. Okay, and you just read a whole chapter later on, but it's a message here in verse 1 and 32. Why is it that the publicans and the harlots would go into the kingdom of Yah before the priests of Israel? Something to meditate on. Let us read the second verse. For John came unto you in the way of righteousness, and ye believe him not. But the publicans and harlots believe him, and ye, when ye have seen it, repent not afterwards that ye might believe him. Okay? So the publicans and the harlots got it. They accepted him as being the Son of Yah. They accepted his teachings. They didn't question him because they knew he was the Son of Yah. Okay? But the high priest who had access to the sacred scrolls didn't get it. And when you read the book of Acts, you will learn why. Satan had them in darkness. When you read the book of Nicodemus, you will see how Satan worked among the Israelites to deceive them so they can crucify the Messiah. Okay? That hidden one. All right. So you'll probably see, well, how does this relate to my confessions? Those that we look down on. Okay? You know, everybody got their own tit for tat, what you look down on. What I learned about the Messiah, he dealt with those who what's the word? He dealt with the unwanted. He went, in other words, I would say like the ghettos. Okay? He went where the unwanted was. But yet the unwanted received him. Okay? Then the high priests of Israel, the Levites, the Pharisees, the Sadducees, and the scribes, they didn't receive him. And yet they had access to the sacred scrolls. But he went to a people that relied on the priests of Israel to teach them. Okay? They didn't have access to these scrolls. But yet they received him. So when we are in ministry, be careful how you deal with those who you think are beneath you. Because the word teaches in this body, there's no one beneath you. Okay? We're not above one another in this body. So be careful. Because they can get into the kingdom before you. And it relates to three things: the heart, your faith, and your works. Okay. So that is something to keep in mind. I just want to take you there too. And when the Father's bringing this to my attention, on the channel, let me see what else I need to take you to, because there's one more verse I need to take you to. But let me go here. On the channel, when you go on the channel, and you look at the things on the channel, there's a time I did speak against those, and it's the reason why. And it has nothing to do with envy. It's something that I saw that the Father let me see. Okay? And I'm going to share this with you. Those that I spoke against, they were leading the people into idolatry. Okay? So when I saw the spirit that was attached to them, of course, many other things going to be attached to them, because when you learn about these spirits, they bring more than one with them. And because these spirits are attached to them, they do not bear the fruits of the spirits that are written in Galatians chapter 5. I'm speaking on top of my head. No, those fruits of the spirits that we should have when we receive the new covenant. They don't bear them. And I had to speak against them because they were leading you into idolatry, or they were going to set you up into a trap. Okay? I'm trying to think what I was going to say else. Because when you come in the whole volume of the book, what is the very thing that caused the Most High to put Israel away? And you can read in all the prophets, you can read it in Torah, you can read it in the Gospel. I mean, all these books, it tells you, even our forefathers' writings, the 12 patriarchs like Levi, Judah, Reuben, all their writings, they all warn us. What is the very thing that the Most High detests? Idolatry. I'm going to say this as an example. When someone's telling you about the eye of the body or the light of the body, they want to give a credit to an organ in your brain known as the pineal gland. So when the Father had me to go back in the Word to study what is the eye of the body, which is the light of the body, the Word told me it's the Messiah, that seed that bears in your bowels. Okay, that seed that makes you the child of Yah, or the son of God, or the daughter of God. They was leaving out the Messiah. They was not giving him his honor. They was leading you to idolatry, to what the heathens do. And that is not of Yah. And they was warned, not only by me, but others. They was warned. And yet they won't be honest and repent and tell you the truth. They were wrong to lead you in that doctrine. And then they were leading you to books that have blasphemy in it. When King James 16:11 broke down the lineage of the Messiah and had you go back in the Old Covenant. There's a brother on YouTube. His name is Aaron. Let me see if I can find. I don't know if I can find it. But if you look at my subscription, his name is Aaron. He did a thorough breakdown of the Messiah lineage. And he had contacted that publisher of the Sefer Bible and told them of the error. And guess what? They turned a blind eye. This is what I'm telling you. We have to be on our guard. We have to be careful what we introduce to feed our spirit. Because Satan will twist lies with truth and know how to attract you. See, they know we are waking up. They know we desire to worship Yah. So they have these what I call baits, okay, to lure you. And so what they do is they have all these truths here, but then they slowly mix lies so you won't see it right away. But only the Spirit of Yah can open your eyes and let you see for what it really is. So that's why I spoke against them, because they were leading you into idolatry. Another one who was claiming to be Elijah. Well, when you hear about Elijah, he was a prophet that preached against idolatry, worshiping other gods, having idols. Okay? So if he's Elijah, all right, why would he carry a idolatrous symbol backing up behind him? Okay? Do you see this? This has come from when you study the word and you recognize. And one of the prophecies of Elijah has already been fulfilled. The Messiah tell you he came. He came through John the Baptist, fulfilling part of the prophecy of the prophet Malachi. All right. Now Elijah will come back and fill the other prophecy that's written in Revelation 11, Zechariah 4, and in the book of Nicodemus. He will come back. So this is why I'm warning y'all, when I speak against someone, it's because of what the Most High has shown me that would keep you, or that would keep you from him, that would cut you off. That's one thing he does not tolerate, is idolatry, which is a form of adultery. We are cheating on him with other gods. And you know his name is jealous, as written in Exodus chapter 34. So because he is jealous, he's not going to tolerate that. That's why I spoke out against them. As for the others, it's because what I saw, and I had to warn you. If I didn't warn you, blood would be on my hands. Okay, and now I got that out the way. And so let's go to this lecture and we'll begin. The last one we'll go to is the Book of Songs. Okay, and then we begin in my first part of my testimony. And I do need to mention this as I'm going to it. One of my sisters, she's like a mother unto me. I have many mothers that the Father let me meet along the way that have adopted me as their daughter. And she was so worried about me. And the Father gave her a dream. And it goes to that idolatry symbol. I don't care what people say about the 6-pointed star or the 5-pointed star. These symbols existed before the nation of Israel. These are things of idolatry, witchcraft. The book of Acts talks about it, the book of Amos. And I know of those who would speak against what I'm saying. But this is how I know that I know. When my sister, who was like a mother unto me, was worried about me, the Father gave her a dream about me. And in that dream, She saw me, and she saw behind me was the menorah. See, that's a deep spiritual message about the menorah. She didn't see no star. She didn't see no 6-pointed star, no 5-point star. She saw the menorah. To understand about the menorah, you have to read Revelation 1 to Revelation 2, to Revelation 11, to Zechariah chapter 4, and Zechariah chapter 11. For the menorah represent these things. It represents the 7 churches, which is the bride of the Messiah. It also represents the house of Israel, the kingdom of Israel known as Ephraim. And it also represents the house of Judah, known as the kingdom of Judah. And pretty soon those 2 kingdoms will become one. Okay. And the menorah, according to the Bible, has bowls. It does not have this modern day European image where they put candlesticks. That is not the true representation of the menorah. It has oil. The oil represents a deep spiritual mystery. On the channel is talked about through when I was making the bread. You can look at that video. But it's a reason why the Father had ordered oil to be placed in the menorah. It's the reason why the Father ordered the high priest to light the menorah at in the evening and put it out in the morning. Like I said, he gives deep spiritual messages. But I don't want to go into that because it'll go off from the topic. Okay. So the last place I want to take you to is Psalms chapter 20. Psalms chapter 37. And we're going to read verse 24. The precepts. The precepts to this. And the precept can be found in the book of Proverbs, which will go next. So let me hurry and read that. We read chapter 37, verse 24. What happens when we fall? In verse 24 of Psalm chapter 37, it says here, let me go up high and read verse 23. The steps of a good man are ordered by Yahuwah, and he delighteth in his way. I'm going to read this again, but I'm going to read it with the word Adam because we know Adam represents male and female. So what goes from male goes for you too, females. The steps of a good Adam are ordered by Yahuwah, and he delighteth in his way. Verse 24, though he fall, he shall not be utterly cast down, for Yahuwah upholdeth him with his hand. See, when we sin, my brothers and sisters, Yahuwah will pick back up. And I do want to share this with you. There are consequences. Yes, when we sin. There are punishments, so judgments, okay? But these punishments or judgments are to correct us and to fear so we won't sin no more. And I thank y'all for that because one of the things I have to bear is I got to put my personal business out here. And I'm a very private person. And it does make me feel ashamed of what I have done. Okay? But when you're a servant of Yah, I got to be real with y'all. I got to be truthful. I can't lie. Okay? Servant. All right, now we're going to go to the book of Psalms chapter 24. Book of Proverbs chapter 24 and verse 17. Open up with this verse. Rejoice not when thy enemy falleth. Let not thy heart be glad when he stumbleth. Okay. I'm sorry. I got to read up higher. Let us read up higher. Verse 16. For a just man falleth 7 times and rises up again, but the wicked shall fall into mischief. So the precept I just read to you in Psalms chapter 37, verse 24, give us more understanding of what that means. Yes, the Most High servants or the bride we do fall, we do sin, we do transgress. Okay, but when we fall, we don't need to stay down, because Satan's going to beat you up. He's going to make you feel bad. He's going to make you feel ashamed. And I'm not saying that you should not feel that, but you should not be so burdened down that you stay away from Yah. And a perfect example of that, look at our father and mother, Adam and Eve. Look what happened when they transgressed. They felt ashamed. They hid themselves because they knew they was naked. That's the same way how we are our sins and transgression. When we sin and transgress, we want to hide. We want to cover it up because we are ashamed. Okay, that is normal to feel. Okay, that's, in a way, it's a good thing, but we should not allow that feeling to overcome us, where it keep us from Yah, because this is where the understanding of the new covenant come in. Once you know who you are, see, that's a mystery about Adam. You got to know who you are. Once you know who you are, Israelites and Gentiles, do not let Satan come and burden you so down where it keeps you from Yah. Because Yah gave us the instructions. He gave us his son as an example, and he gave us his word to know how to come back unto him and to sin no more. See, the things that we deal with our flesh, it takes the spirit to overcome the flesh. See, we can't do this by our hand. It's that Holy One, that seed that's in our bowel, okay, that help us to overcome. This is something we have to understand. We can't do it ourselves. We need the Spirit of Yah to do it for us, to help us overcome. And one day, hopefully, I'll let you hear some of my other brothers and sisters' testimony, because I know of a brother who was dealing with a drug problem for years, and he couldn't overcome it until Yah spoke to him and he put his spirit upon him, and he overcame it instantly. That's what I'm talking about. It takes the spirit of Yah to overcome the things that we deal in our flesh, or what we crave. Okay, so looking at verse 16, for a just man falleth 7 times and rises up again, but the wicked shall fall into mischief. So those who are YAHUAHs, the children of Yah, he's not going to let you remain down. Okay, he's not going to let you do it. He's going to pick you back up and restore you. But for him to do that, we have to repent, and we have to sin no more, and we have to be honest. We have to be real, Father. If you need help, cry out to him, Father, I need help. I struggle with this. Okay. But I'm going to have to read verse 17, because this is the same with our enemies. When we see our enemies fall, or when the Father is chastising them, this is what the words say. Rejoice not when thy enemy falleth. Let not thy heart be glad when he stumbleth. Lest you would see it, and it did please him, and he turn away his wrath from him. Fret not thyself because of evil men, not be thou envious at the wicked. So I stop there. So when the Father is chastising the wicked, we need to pray for our enemies, that they will repent and make it right with Yah. It's just like a parent. You know how you discipline a child and then your other child laughing? You don't like that. But that's the same thing with the Father, because you are trying to get the child you are disciplining to be corrected. And you don't need someone laughing at them, because then it can deter them from receiving their punishment, or from learning. You know what I'm saying? It can cause them to have a more hardened heart and to turn from him. So the Father said, no, don't do this, because I'm going to get you. And I love how the Father is a righteous judge. I love how he's a father unto us, because he gives us an example on what we should do in the earth with one another, with our children, with the family, with the strangers. Do you see this? Okay. And there's another verse, but I'm not going to go to it, but you can go to it. It's in the gospel. If our brother sin against us, 7 times, forgive him. Because this forgiveness thing goes very deep, and it does tie in whether or not we get the kingdom of Yah. This look at the video description box. There's a young man who saw the day of judgment, and hear what he said. What can keep you from Yah's kingdom? Okay, because as the Messiah said, there will be those that will be great in the kingdom, and there will be those who least in the kingdom. Some will barely get in. Okay, now for my testimony. Okay, now I got to all the word to look at. So I got to start back to the beginning of my life. I ain't talking about the very beginning when I was a babe. One of the things in my life that I had to deal with is that I had a speech impediment. I stuttered, and when I can't remember when I got into the word, but when I was reading the word, I was reading about Moses. I noticed that Moses is not a great speaker. So my brothers and sisters who have a speech problem or a speaking problem, I can relate to you. I know what that is. Even with me, it's hard for me to say certain words. Sometimes I can't pronounce certain words. Sometimes you might hear me stutter a little bit. But when I hear about Moses' testimony, how he wasn't a great speaker, how the Father has given him Aaron to speak for him, I rejoice because, you know, when the Father called me to be his servant, by reading the testimony of those that's in the Word, it encouraged me to not allow my speech impediment to stop me. Because he did call me to preach his word. I am his servant, and I fall under the same anointing that the Messiah went through, that his disciples, known as the apostles, went through, and that Paul went through. The same anointing that fell upon Moses and that fell upon Joshua, the 70 elders. Read Numbers chapter 11 and chapter 12. Read Joel chapter 2 and Acts chapter 2. I went through that same anointing. And I know what I had preached unto you or what I had taught unto you, Israelites and Gentiles. It is not by my knowledge. It comes from him. And I give Yahuwah all the credit in the name of Yahushua HaMashyah. It comes from him. Okay? Now, another thing you need to mention, please don't compare yourself to me. Please do not worship me. Do not idolize me. Take this testimony as edification. We all have different parts to play in the body. My part is not greater than yours, nor is your part greater than mine. Your part is not least than mine. When you study about the body, and I do need to mention this, I am a nurse. That's one of my trades. And when you study about the human body, you study about the different parts, you will learn that no system or part is greater than each other. Each is dependent on one another. Without each other, there would be an imbalance or it can't survive. And that's the same way in the body of the Messiah, which is a congregation of Israel, which is made up of Israelites, Gentiles. When I say Gentiles, I'm talking about the strangers, male, female, bond and free, circumcised, uncircumcised, Scythian and barbarian, all those that receive the Messiah, which is the salvation and the righteousness of Yah. Okay, what's done in the new was done in the old. The same thing in the old covenant. Those strangers who sojourned with us from out of Egypt, they too took a hold onto the covenant, and they too had to follow the same laws, statutes, judgment, and commandments too. Okay, so I'm going to talk about my speech impairment. Also, growing up as a young child, spiritual things would happen to me. One time I saw an angel, and I saw it in the same letter that you see on YouTube. They are bright, bright, white light. They illuminated. Then there are times I have been afflicted by spirits. What you see in the movies is real and true. Man called it sleep paralysis, But there are times where these spirits would come unto me and try to hold me down. I can't get up, and I'm fighting. And the only way they would leave from me when I call in the name of Yahushua HaMashyah. Okay? And I do need to share this with you. Before I was in truth, I said the name that was important to me. They left for me. And what the Father taught me was it was about my faith, that He knew whom I was truly calling on. That's why He flee for me. There was a time where when they did come to me, I heard many voices. One time. No, actually twice, but that's later on. Again, when they came unto me, when I said His name, they left me. And at that time, I didn't understand why it would happen. As far as my background in my faith, I was raised up as a disciple of the Messiah. I don't say the other word, but you know what I mean. I was raised as a disciple of the Messiah, believing the washing of the feet, the drinking of the wine, and the eating of the bread. We did fellowship with other denominations because we was like, long as you follow the same doctrines that's in this book, the King James 16 Bible book, we did fellowship. So I did meet other denominations such as the Pentecost. So I understood about the speaking of the tongues. Understood that too. Okay. So back to the spiritual account. So later on in life, I met a pastor who gave me the understanding why these spirits would come unto me, and he told me, he said, you have a great love for YAH, and they see that, and this is why they come and attack you. Okay. Okay. I had also experienced later on in life certain ones who would try to come at me, but in their spirit. Again, I had to rebuke them in the name of Yahushua HaMashyah, and they would flee from me. I even had dreams of these spirits, and some of the dreams I had shared on my Facebook account. And in that dream, when I realized what that spirit was doing, I roared like a lion. And as I meditate on that, the Father let me know what that means. I roar like a lion because of the hidden man in me, that seed in me. The same hidden man that's written in 1 Peter chapter 5. I just need to go to it, just make sure I'm reading the right chapter. The same hidden man that was in the wife that can win her husband over in conversation. That is why I roared like a lion. Okay, in that dream. I said, okay. So I had experienced that. And that's why I tell people what you see in the movies, it's no play. That stuff is real. Okay. Even my family tells about my ancestors, our family history. We talk about things because of the things that my family had encountered. Okay. And no, we're not in no black arts. We don't do no voodoo, nothing like that. But my family will share their testimonies of certain ones who have been attacked that way. Okay. Oh, let me see here. I'm in the book of Peter's. Yes, First Peter's. Yep, it's First Peter's chapter 3. That's where you'll find it at. So he gave me understanding on that. So as time went on, as I grew into a young woman, and this is where I want to get to. I became married. Okay. Trying to think what else I need to tell you before I get into that. The Father will let you know that when you hear my testimony, I have broken all of His commandments. But the main ones I'm going to point out to you are the 10 commandments and the 2 greatest commandments. But yet, He still called me to be His servant. And I thought that was strange. And I had to meditate on that. And we'll later on talk about that, because he wants you to look at some of the people in the Bible, such as David and Paul. And then you can see why he still called me. I'm not bragging, but I'm just understanding why he does what he does. Because I'm still learning more about him and how he works. Okay. So when I became a young woman, I became married. And in that marriage, I was not happy. Within 4 years, I was not happy. I did not no longer desire to be married anymore. And it was because you got to remember, I was in my 20s, so I had a 20-year-old mind. I was in the age from 24 to 28. So you have to remember, I have to give you the understanding how a 20-year-old think, person in 20s. Some of the things I can remember, and I can't give you every detail, I can only give you the highlights. It's not that he was a bad man. I didn't have him problems on him lying or stealing or cheating on me. I didn't have those issues. It was just everyday problems. But some of the things I remember that pushed me from him was, I went to him and I asked him, how about let us, as man and wife, have our own Bible study? I mean, we still would go to Bible study at church, but I wanted us to have some time together as man and wife to study the Bible. So he comes back to me and let me know that he prefers studying the Bible to himself. I said, okay. And in the year of 03, this is when I began to come more closer to the Father, because throughout my whole life, I always been the type to read the Bible for myself. And the Father was bringing this to my attention, that I was putting things before him. And this is why I didn't have the time to get deeper in his word. So I gave up television. Like I said, at that time, he was beginning to purge me of those things that was keeping me from him. And what I noticed, that seeing how when I was going in one direction towards the Father, my husband was going a different direction. What I mean is, he didn't notice the changes that was taking place. Another issue we had was money. Not that to get rich or nothing like that. When the Father let me know that we need to get out of debt, I was trying to get my husband to understand that. But because my husband came from a family of 5, and because he had to work hard, and he was the only one of that family at that time who went to college and finished college, he felt like he shouldn't have to work hard anymore. That was it. Okay? Now, I'm going to tell you some things about me that I did in this marriage, because it won't all on him. It was both of us. So it broke my heart that he couldn't see what I saw, because I was like, how can we help people if we're in debt? That was my heart's desire, to make the sacrifice, to work extra, to work hard, to get a second job, no matter if it's what people say a common job, whatever other job. I was a type, I do what I got to do to get out of this debt. But at the time, he didn't see that. Now, some of his complaints towards me that I didn't realize when I was letting him know I don't want this marriage anymore. He would say that he felt like I was wearing the pants around there. Okay. And we have to, and to get understanding that when you read these curses that falls upon the male and the female of the Hebrew Israelites, I understand why. Because I was raised from a strong lineage of women. And when you learn about our family history, things happened to those women in my family, and they had to learn how to be strong. They had to learn not to depend on the man. You know what I'm saying? In other words, the way I was raised to be prepared. So if this man stick by me, that's fine. If this man did not stick by me, I'd be okay, because I could still make it on my own. Again, it fall under curses. And I do want to say this to you, my brothers and sisters. Don't get caught up in this male versus female thing. That's another stumbling block for Satan. Look at what the word tells us. These curses fell upon, such as, the woman ruling over the man, such as women cheating on their husband. I get to that part. to with adultery because of what we did to Yah. So when we understand that, then we understand why we did what we did. I'm not making an excuse. I'm not justifying, but now we understand the root of our nation's problems. So once you understand that, the only way to correct it, you have to submerge yourself in the Word and allow the Spirit of Yah, who is the Messiah, to teach you, and then you have to bring those teaching into action. That's how we correct it. Okay. So getting back, that was one of his complaints towards me, and I can't remember everything. But anyway, when I decided to end my marriage, I went to the pastor. The pastor did meet with me. Thought I made up my mind, because my family would tell you, once y'all make her mind, that's it. You can't change her. She's stubborn. Yeah, I'm stubborn. And when I shared with the pastor the issues we had in the marriage, he agreed there are issues. Oh, another, now my father reminded me. One of the issues, I felt that sometimes he would put me before, he put the church before me. That was just another issue. But anyway, that just came to my mind. So the pastor, now there are issues in our marriage that needs to be corrected. However, they are fixable. But he did let me know this. He said, you see it. But with your husband, it's like pulling a mule or a horse to the water who don't want to drink. So to speed that up, when I knew this was it, I was done. I listened. You know that voice in your head? I listened to that voice. And that voice said, remember that man that you love more than yourself? And you gave this man up for him? When the only thing you ask your husband for simple things, and you telling him how you want to get out of debt, you telling him how I love you, but he's not listening. See, this is what Satan would do. The same way he did with Judas, the same way he did with the king of Tyre, the same way he did with the serpent of God. He'll come to you and begin to entice you, tempt you. Okay? So I listened to that voice. And it's, the voice was like, you should have stayed with that man that you love, that man that you love more than yourself. Then at least you would be happy. So what I did, I followed that voice. In other words, I got connected to the one that I truly love with all my heart, the one that I gave up for my husband. Because I saw my husband as being a good man. I didn't have to worry about him lying, stealing, or cheating on me. But when we had these issues, I became unhappy. So I sought out the one that I truly love. And if you know anything, that was not a good thing to do. So when I sought him out, we got connected. I knew right then and there, my marriage was over. That was it. And because the way I was raised, I didn't believe that a woman should go between two men. That's not right. That's not right to the other. So because I knew what was right and wrong in my heart, I ended the marriage. So I became the adulteress. Do you hear that, my brothers and sisters? I became the adulteress. And yes, my husband did try, but I didn't tell him the truth because I knew it was over. And I knew there was something that he couldn't deal with, because there was some things in his past that he couldn't deal with, and that was one of the things he couldn't deal with, a cheating woman. So I ended the marriage in peace and left. And I left him with everything because I told him I had because I was a nurse, I could have a better start. And for him, to keep everything. I only took my personal possessions, and I told him to keep it so he can have a decent start. So, we went our separate ways. Okay. Now, if I had the wisdom, knowledge, understanding that I have now, would I have met my husband? No. Remember what the words say about being equally yoked? Now, I can't speak for him now because I don't know what he is. I don't know what he is like now. Only thing I can speak over what the man that I knew of him at that time. Looking back, he was not equally yoked to me. Okay. Yes, he was a believer, but You have to be married to someone who is on common ground with you. So when there are problems or troubles in your marriage, Satan cannot come in there and shift y'all or entice y'all. Do you see what I'm saying? That's what I learned. I learned that I wasn't mature enough, or I didn't have the understanding on how to court. Amen. You know what I'm saying? In other words, I had to be retaught about everything on dating, on courting, on marriage. I had to be retaught because the Father let me know that you shouldn't have been able to dissolve your marriage so easily like that. That's not His will. That's not His way. Okay? So believe me, I paid for that. Oh yeah, I paid. You'll see later on in my life how I paid for that. Oh yeah. But if I had the wisdom, knowledge, understanding now, back then, of course I would have done things differently. Because one thing I do know, based on my ex-husband mindset at that time, would he have received the truth would he have received the truth of us being the Hebrew Israelites? Probably not. Probably not. Based on at that time. And I just look back at certain events on how the Father was leading me in one direction, and I see that He's going in a different direction. So yes, I take accountability for that. I'm at fault for that. Okay. Now which brings me to this. So in this period of time, I'm traveling as a travel nurse. So which was the perfect time for me to get away from my family because, everybody wanted me to stay married to this man, but I couldn't do it. Could not. I had to get away. So I got away. But in the midst of all that stuff that was going on, there's another problem that came in my life. Death was at my door. If I said, what are you talking about, death at your door? Cancer was coming in, cervical cancer. And this is the part I want to get to now in this part. And we're going to end with this part. If I said, yes. They said that the cause of my abnormal pap smears was the HPV. And I did not accept that, and I'll tell you why. How can you have HPV and not have signs? The female don't bear signs and the male don't bear signs. The only thing they can tell if you have it when you start having abnormal cellular changes at your cervix. I didn't accept that, y'all. I just couldn't accept that. In my heart, I could not accept that. So while I was traveling as a travel nurse, because I was in a health supplement business, I was selling health supplements at the time. Later on, I come to find out because somehow I'm just in tune with my body. And I knew within my body, those health supplements I was taking was not working for me. And it was a year later? I'm trying to remember how it works out. Yeah, it was a year later. I think it was in 2004. That's when I heard Yah spoke to me. And that's when He told me I need to know how to use herbs. So before that movement came, it seemed like y'all always deal with me before certain movements would come in to play. Before the movement came in about organic foods and what they doing to the foods and how they killing us, Yah was already teaching me about this. He was also teaching me how to use this herb to the point where I can teach a poor man on how to use Yah herbs and how they can be affordable unto him. How he can go to a grocery store and find these herbs at an affordable price. Okay, this is the type of knowledge that Yah was giving to me. Yah was teaching me about the health supplements because He was teaching me how they might not be processing it right. So He had to take me back to His way. And then Yah led me to a neuropathic doctor. He put a neuropathic doctor in my path. And guess what the neuropathic doctor was teaching me? the Leviticus and the Deuteronomy diet, his diet. This is why I say unto you that those instructions that the people say they are put away with, that's in the old covenant, they are to give us life. And because of those instructions, it furthered my life here on the earth. Okay. This is why I say to you, I could not accept what they was telling me about this HPV, because I'm like, it's something more to this, y'all. And he was right. It is something more to this, or what man was doing unto us. When I was a young girl, I think about 11, I started my administration early. I started my administration at time, but my administration was not normal. Okay, when I say not normal, I would skip months and not have a period. So, which was fine with me, because at that time I wasn't studying it. But when my body would try to have a period, I was in severe pain. It was like the pain was so severe in my stomach. I just want to take a knife and stab it. That's how bad I hurt. The pain was so bad that it had me on my knees. Okay. So with that being said, my mother took me to the doctor. I can't remember. I know I was in junior high at the time. I can't remember the exact age. But she took me to the doctor. But he basically explained to me I had a hormonal imbalance. Because I had a hormonal imbalance, I was placed on birth control. Now, getting back to the point where when I realized cancer was coming in, now I'm in my 20s and cancer is coming in. I began, as I was teaching me about his herbs, I began to learn about the birth control. I read that little packet insert and I said to myself, this is the corporate. And then I began to learn that, those last pills that you take, they say it's either sugar pills or vitamin pills. What I learned is they have to give you some type of vitamin. Sometimes they give you vitamins, those last 7 pills, because they deplete your vitamin B stores. All right. So I had to clean my body from this medication, because if you learn about medications, they can stay in your system for a long time, even if you start taking them. So the Father taught me about fasting. Okay. Like I told y'all, he was pouring all his knowledge into me. And I was obedient. I listened to him. Okay. So with the herbs and with the fasting, he was getting my body back in balance. And when I did that, with all of his instructions, and when I did not eat the unclean foods, all right, because I learned that man was pulling us through the chemicals and through the hormones they were adding to the foods. When I listened, guess what? I know my periods. I didn't hurt. I didn't have cramps. So this is how I know what is true about his word. It is to give us life, not only an earthly life, a good earthly life, but also to save our soul, to lead us to the eternal life. Okay. That was the deepest thing he taught unto me. So when I was going back to the doctor again, checked out because of these abnormal patterns, because it started out mild to moderate, and thank you, y'all. He want me to get that book, because he confirmed on me what I knew. I knew cancer was coming in. I knew death was at his door. Hold on. Let me go in here. And I love how y'all gives me confirmation. I love how he gives confirmation. This is the book that confirmed unto me. All right. It is called What Your Doctor May Not Tell You About Premenopause by Dr. John R. Lee, MD, Jesse Haley, MD, and Virginia Hopkins. Best-selling authors of What Your Doctor May Not Tell You About Menopause, for information on natural progesterone. Okay. This book confirmed what Yah was already teaching me. He confirmed that when you see what they call mild dysplasia, then it changed to moderate dysplasia, that is a warning sign from your body. Your body is speaking unto you, letting you know if you don't do something, death is on the way. or cancer is on the way. See, our body talks to us all the time, but we just not able to recognize the signs because we've been taught by man, the heathens. Okay, we've been listening to them for so long. But when you get under the spirit of Yah, he will teach you how to recognize what your body is saying to you. So under that teaching, all of the change in my life. So when I came back to North Carolina, my family was like, you done fell off. What's wrong with you? But I was on cloud 9. I had energy. I felt good. And because I was listening to the Father, my weight was down. All right. So that's why I say unto the Christians to put away the old and not understanding that we come in the whole Bible book and not understanding that we are under the Messiah who shall teach you all things, to put away what they call the law. But you got to understand this. You can't put everything under one word, the law, because what they don't know, there are laws in the heavens that still exist. There are laws in the earth that still exist, that has not changed, such as when we look in Genesis, we are what? Instructed not to eat what? Blood. And that's the same thing mentioned in the book of Acts, not to eat blood or offerings that has been offered unto idols. Hold on for a second, y'all. Okay, sorry about that. Family just checking on me. So, getting back to that. When I follow y'all instructions, the healing came. And when I went to the doctor and they retested me, guess what? I had no dysplasia and I had no HPV. And that's because I listened. And the Father wanted me to let you know about the birth control. See, I took the birth control for medical reasons, but when I learned how to balance the hormone imbalance I was having in my body, you could still be in what we call, you could still have low estrogen and still have an imbalance between the estrogen and progesterone. That's what this book was teaching me. And it was talking about the diet as well. Everything that the Father was teaching me about, all this stuff we was exposed to, it was confirmed in this book. Okay. So when they couldn't find it, of course that doctor was going to make a lame excuse. But I knew he healed me. So getting back to my marriage, I didn't leave my husband for that man because I already knew that we could go south. Okay, I already knew that. When I left him because I knew that I didn't no longer want to be married to him. I knew I wasn't happy. Okay, that's why I left him, not for no other man. Because as time went on, that man that I committed adultery with, we did go our separate ways. But then later on, he reached out to me and we did pick back up. And when the Father healed me, like I said, this is how you know you're his. Okay, I just want to make sure that we're still recording. I was looking at it. How we know that we are his. My soul got convicted. I said, I cannot continue to sin against you, Father, when you healed me. He healed me, y'all. He gave me life. He gave me an extension of life upon this earth. I couldn't do that anymore. So when I made up my mind not to commit fornication, of course, we went our separate ways. Was I sad of her? I mean, yes, I was sad, but then I was not going to, what's the word? I was not going to show y'all, what's the word I'm looking for? When somebody do something for you and you want to show your appreciation. In other words, I could not continue in wickedness when Yah is something great unto me. I couldn't do it. Could not do it. Also, in that time when he was teaching me about the herbs and about my body and about how man was killing us through the medications, through the foods, it led me to my hair. So I went natural too. Before the natural hair movement exploded. Because again, he always uses me to come back home to my family to tell them, look, y'all, they kill us through the food. They kill us through the medications. If you listen to Yah, he can heal you. Okay? He can give you life. All right. Also, I was telling them about my hair. I said they put in chemicals, in our hair products, and they causing us to change our hair into an image that was not given unto us, because our hair comes from the image of Yah. He has woolly hair. He has what today they call kinky, but he has woolly hair just like we have woolly hair. So some reason Yah always used me to come back home to tell my family what is going on, and then later on the confirmation comes. And that was in '05 when I came to them about that. And then as time went on, as you see, the natural hair movement has exploded big. We also see of people eating right and everything. But what the Father has taught me, that because Adam, which is mankind, is out of order, they are not doing things correctly according to instruction. His instruction, this book right here, tells you how to eat, tells you how to farm, tells you how not to deplete the soil of its nutrients, because these instructions are given for a reason. They are to give us life, earthly and spiritually. Okay? So that is the part I was stopping now. This is part one. So I gave you the testimony of the Father healing me from cancer, because it was coming. No shadow of a doubt. I gave you the testimony of how I committed adultery. Okay. Also, I did forget to mention this. Throughout my life, even as a young girl, he has sent prophets and prophetess unto me, and they have prophesied things over my life. Okay. And as you watch these testimonies that I would give unto you, you will see the messages. And I want to let you know, I went through my Job. Read the book of Job, you see what I'm talking about. I have went through my Job where Yah has taken away. In a way, he stripped me. And the messenger of Yah that actually, okay, let me back it up so I can get to the end of this. So you can understand what I'm saying. Throughout my life, the Father has sent his prophet and prophetess, or his messengers unto me, prophesizing over me of the calling he has over my life. And one of the message that he sent unto me was this. He said, I will fall greatly. But when I fall, I shall rise up and be a woman of Yah. And the Father had allowed me to see what that truly means. I now understand what that means about me falling. I had went through my Job, brothers and sisters. And now I understand the very verse that's written in the book of Job. Can we go to it? Let us go to it. It's in the book of Job. And we'll end with that in this part. I understand now. I'm no longer asleep. The sleeper has awakened. Okay? I understand this. I now understand Job and what he went through. It was for edification. It was to get us on a higher spiritual level with the Father. Okay? Because we belong to Yah and not to Satan. Let me go to my book. I find it fast. And I do apologize. Just bear with me, y'all. I try to, let me think what it could be. Okay, we get into it now. It's in Job chapter 1. Job chapter 1, verse 21. And said, naked came I out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither. Yahuwah gave, and Yahuwah take away. Blessed be the name of Yahuwah. In these testimonies and confessions that will come out in this playlist, you will see how Yahuwah name is blessed when he gives and when he takes away. And I thank him for setting me free. I thank him for taking everything away from me. He stripped me, y'all, of everything. I became homeless. I lost family and friends along the way. He stripped me bare. And it had to be done. Because when you hear the rest of this testimony, you have to see why. And because what he did for me, because I am indebted unto him, like in the Father prayer, we pray for our debts, right? I'm indebted to him, y'all. He saved my life, earthly and spiritually. He saved my soul. And because I'm indebted to him, I'm his servant. I have to do his will. I will answer the call. I will do what he asked me to do. I will do it. Not my will, his will. Because he didn't have to, y'all. I was on my way to Sheol. Gonna bust hell door wide open. And he said, no, you are my child. And I called you to do my will. So now you understand why I have to keep going on. Why I have to keep preaching. Why I have to keep getting his messages out. Because we're in that season. We know the Messiah is coming back. We can see it in the signs of the heaven and earth. So that's why I'm sharing to you, my brothers and sisters. If you fail, get up. Confess your sins unto the Father. Be truthful. Be real. Don't put on anymore. Don't allow the spirit of God to come upon you. Unharden your heart. Let him in. Let him do that work upon you. And if you have a calling on your life, answer the call. And when you do his call, don't do your will. Ask Yah, what is your will you want me to do, Father? Don't be like Saul. Don't be like Saul. King Saul. Look at King David's life. Be like him. Be accountable of your transgressions. Do Yah's will and not your will. Have a heart for the Father. Because he knows your thoughts. He knows your intentions. And just be real with his people. I got to read that verse one more time. Yahuwah gave, and Yahuwah take away. Blessed be the name of Yahuwah. So in these testimonies and confessions that would come out unto you, my brothers and sisters, you would see how his name is blessed. See, we can bless the Father when he gives, but we don't understand what it means to bless him when he take away. But now I understand because he set me free, y'all. He set me free of a lot of things that was keeping me from him. And he's doing a work upon me so I can be an example unto you, my brothers and sisters. So you too can be received by him. So you too can worship him. So you too will not have to go to Sheol. He loves us so much. He loves us so much. But we don't understand him. We don't know how much he loves us. Okay. So sum everything up. Let me go back here. I sinned. I failed. But y'all got me up. My confessions. So if you fall, repent. Sin no more. Get up. For you belong to Yahuwah and not to Satan. So stay tuned for part 2. All right, my brothers and sisters, continue to preach the gospel that the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Make sure the people receive salvation as written in Romans chapter 8. And make sure the people are baptized by the water and by the Spirit. For the Lamb and his apostles set the example. And we know there are 3 witnesses in the heavens, and there's 3 witnesses in the earth. And the water is the second witness that will give an account for those who enter into the new covenant. So as you heard part 1, meditate. I will disable the comment section because I don't want you to speak too soon, too quickly. I want you to hear this from the beginning to the end. If you do need to reach out to me, you can reach me at fallendmessiah378@gmail.com. So if the Father can forgive me, heal me, give life unto me, what do you think he'll do unto you? Do not let men beat you up. The most important thing is to appease YAH and to give homage to his son, Yahushua HaMashyah. That should be your focus and concern. Because if you know anything about the history of man, they're like waves. One minute they be for you, next minute they be against you. But that's okay because I know who works behind the scene. The Father showed it in my dreams. I know it. That's why I can too say, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. I understand now. I understand why the Messiah said that. Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do, because he also saw the hidden one working behind the scenes. I hope part 1 of my confessions is a blessing unto you, edification unto you. And I'm trying to think what else to say, because it's a lot to say, but I don't want to be out here rambling. But take this time now in this season while we going through the coronavirus, and we know Yah said himself more is to come. Take this time to make it right with the Father. Get back in line with him. All right, y'all. I said enough. Shalom.